What's poppin', it's Dynamite, and in this video I'll be showing you some ways to organize yourself for 2021. Now, every time I export a beat, a remix, or whatever, I organize it into different folders. As you see right here, I have some folders right here by each year, so I'm gonna make a 2021 folder. Now, I usually make 6 to 7 different folders for what I have planned for that month. So since the first month of the year is usually January, put January. And then I'll make a bounce folder. Now if you don't know what bounce is, it's just exporting. So I'll make a bounce folder and I will go in that folder and I'll make 2 versions. I'll make a wave and I'll make an MP3. Now, when bouncing, in my case, I may need to send some files to different clientele, or I may just want different versions of that same production. So I'll make the wave folder right here and the MP3 folder. And that way, if I quickly need to like send an MP3 or quickly need a wave or something, I can just go to that folder. This is how I would structure the file. So let's say this was a beat, I would put the date on the beat. So let's say it's January 1st, so I'll put 1-1-2021. Then I'll put the name of the beat. So let's call this YouTube. Then I usually put who made the beat or if it's a remix or whatever, because the person receiving this, they may not remember who it's from. So it's always best to put who it's from, and if you didn't, put your name in there. So, produced by It's Dynamite. And then I would have the BPM as well. And this is great for engineers or artists that wants to like quickly load the beat and not figure out what the BPM is. So let's just say this BPM is 97 beats per minute. And I'll put the key down, and the same thing, it makes their job easier. Putting the key, let's call this an A sharp minor. Now, some of you may say this seems like a lot, but it's very, very important because you never know what type of information you may need from that one file. Now, I'll do the same thing for the MP3s. Just because they're different files doesn't mean they get treated any different. So, but that's for the bounce folder. Now, then I'll make a FLP folder. Now, for FL users, you know what an FLP is. It's just a save file. I'll just put them in here. How I'll name them is it's similar but not exactly the same. So now let's say it's still January 1st. So 1-1-2021. Put the name of the beat, whatever you're working on. Let's call this fries. And who it's done by, the .flp. Now that's for the FLPs. I just keep it simple like that. The date and the name of the project and who it's done by. Then I do a collab folder. Now if I'm collabing with someone, it's good to know which one's yours and which one's like collaborations. So in collab folders, I'll make 3 different versions. So inside the collab, I have a bounce folder, a zip folder, and a stems folder. Now in that bounce folder, we'll do the same thing we did earlier, wave and MP3. Now the reason why I have stems and zips is if you don't know what a zip is, for Acid Pro and FL users, even Ableton too, when you do a normal like FL project, you can save the project, but if you want to save everything with all the sounds that you use and stuff like that. You save it as a zip. That way it's easier for the next person to receive it without worrying about I didn't receive the sounds, etc. Now the stems can be very important. You may be setting the stems to an engineer. Let's say you and another producer collabed on a track and you got a placement, and the artist may need the stems for some reason. You have the stems available and you can easily send it out. Now for the stems, I try to organize it like this. Let's say it's me and DJ Taj, right? We made a track called Soda. I'll name the folder is Dynamite X DJ Taj Soda, right? And then in that folder I'll have the waves. Now stems you don't want to export as MP3s. I'll make a master. The reason why I made a wave in the master folder is the arrangement. If you don't know what stems are, it's basically that track you did but broken down by sound. Now because it's broken down by sound, if you play a track, it's just gonna play the drums or the melody, whatever sounds you use. The master is everything put together, the full song. That's why I made 2 different folders. Now you could put in one folder, but it makes it a bit more inconvenient to the engineer or the artist, whoever's using the stems, because they see a bunch of files and it's like a little annoying. You make the job easier. When we made this folder, it's best to put the BPM and key as well. So let's say we made this at 149 and let's say the key is G minor. Now the same thing, you're just making their job easier. They don't have to like spend time. Like imagine like trying to find the BPM of a kick. By you putting the BPM and the key, it makes everyone's life a little bit easier. Now that's the stems. We have the folder, the name of the file, the people who did it. We have the BPM, and now we have the key. And in that folder, we have the wave and we have the master. When to send it, you don't send, well you can, but usually I don't send like the folder as is. I'll just like zip it up. You can use whatever compression application you want. I use 7-zip and I just zip it up. The zips did the track in FL or ACID or whatever. I usually want to back up the entire project as a zip because you never know what may happen. Now that's for the collabs. Now stems was done by name, BPM, key, and then master and wave. I make a folder called purchase as well, another folder. Now if you sell beats or you do any type of sales using your production, I usually make a purchase folder. So if you're selling a lease, I'll put the lease in there. Exclusives, however you spell that, you put the exclusives there. I usually export the production the same way I would do in the bounce folder, but you know, split them. If you sell a different type of leases, so let's say it's an MP3 lease, I would make an MP3 folder. If you sell a wave lease, wave folder, same thing for the exclusives and the stems as well. The more organized you are, the easier it will be when looking back. And that's for the purchase folder. You can just copy these into the exclusives as well. And same thing for the stems, master, wave. I make a zip folder for myself as well, because same scenario, you never know what may happen. So it's best to export the file as a FLP and a zip, or whatever program you're using, and a zip version of that. Another folder I would make is sync if I'm doing any sync placements. If you don't know what sync is, like TV, movie, game, stuff like that, placements. And I would make a project folder as well. So if I'm making a specific project, I could just, that project within that month, I'll just make a project folder, put the name of the project. So let's just say Tana.
It's Dynamite.
And it's Dynamite. Slapback. And that's the project folder. I make a pack folder as well. So if you work with artists or anyone you constantly send production to, I'll make a pack folder just so you know these productions are for that person. or company only. That way you don't get confused to see if that beat that you made was for this person or was that for you. And that's basically it. Bounce, collab, FLP, pack, project, purchase, stem, sync, and zip. Now if you use Acid or Ableton, I usually make those folders as well. Acid and Ableton. Now for the Ableton, I'll just put my Ableton stuff in here, and my acid stuff in there. And for the zip, I'll make different folders for those programs as well. So I'll make a FL Studio zip. I'll make Ableton and acid. And that's it for today's video, making your job a little bit easier and saving you time in the long run by organizing your productions. I'll see you in the next one.